Yes, good evening and welcome to Look North. Our top story tonight. Almost 20 years after PC Sharon Bisheniski was murdered, the Police Federation say the risk to officers has risen sharply.
I think the threat and harm that officers face is increased tenfold.
Now, PC Bisheniski's bravery is to be honoured posthumously. Also tonight, a shortage of holiday staff has forced some seaside businesses to reduce their opening hours ahead of the summer season.
Tonight here at Rotherham United, we can use that old football cliche, must-win game. If Rotherham United don't win, they will already know that they'll be playing in League One next season. Rotherham against Plymouth Argyle tonight. We'll look ahead.
The terrace house where the Bronte sisters were born is to be restored and open to the public.
And the promise of some warm but also very windy weather to come this weekend. Join me later in the programme for the rest of the details.
Hello and thank you for joining us this Friday evening. The danger police officers face on a daily basis has increased tenfold since the murder of PC Sharon Bisheniski. That's according to the Police Federation. PC Bisheniski was shot while responding to a robbery in Bradford in 2005. Yesterday, almost 20 years on, Pirandita Khan was found guilty of her murder. The Police Federation warned that even today, officers still arrive at emergency incidents without knowing what danger they face. Tom Ingle reports.
That memory of Sharon, that feeling, that hurt is still there. The mourning and the loss is still there. Her friends and colleagues still feel that loss to this very day.
It is a bittersweet moment for West Yorkshire Police. The end of a manhunt which has lasted almost 2 decades. The ringleader of an armed gang brought to justice. But a colleague who will never return to her family.
In terms of recognising the loss of a colleague, there is a small memorial stone on Morley Street near the travel agents. Is there something else that can be done?
I think that now there is a small step forward. So there is the Elizabeth Medal that the Police Federation of England and Wales have been campaigning for. That has come to fruition, and that medal now will go posthumously to those officers and colleagues that have lost their lives in the line of duty.
So Sharon's family will receive a medal?
Yes. No token, no medal is ever going to bring back that person and that loved one. However, it is a small token to say that what they did was incredibly brave, was incredibly professional, and it just gives some recognition of how hard they worked.
When PC Sharon Bisheniski arrived at the travel agents in Bradford, she was responding to a silent panic alarm from inside. Within 30 seconds of their patrol car pulling up, she and her colleague had both been shot. They didn't even enter the building.
We're talking about 2 unarmed officers, and they're going into a situation they really don't know anything about or what to expect.
Absolutely, it'll happen now. Every day, every moment of every day, police officers, West Yorkshire police officers, and across the United Kingdom are going to routine calls exactly like this, and they have absolutely no idea how and what they're going to face when they get there. I think the threat and harm that officers face is increased tenfold.
Policing has changed in the last 18 years. Officers now wear body armour, cameras and carry tasers. One thing, though, remains the same: the uncertainty, the possibility someone else may fall in the line of duty.
I hope not. I sincerely hope not. But you can never say never, and that is that's the difficulty of the job. That's the difficulty of going to a day-to-day call. You just don't know what you're going to come across. And when they leave the door, their loved ones know that they are going out to do good. They put the communities first above themselves.
Craig Nichols ending that report there from Tom Ingle. Next tonight, businesses in one of our most popular seaside villages fear they may not be able to cope with the busy summer period due to a shortage of staff. Hospitality vacancies in Robin Hood's Bay have more than trebled over the last 3 years, according to One Job's website. Employers say they have been forced to reduce opening hours because they don't have enough workers. Kathy Killick has spent the day in Robin Hood's Bay.
Clinging to the cliff tops 5 miles south of Whitby, Robin Hood's Bay is one of the jewels of the East Coast. Its fishermen's cottages make romantic holiday lets, so much so that fewer than 50 permanent residents remain living here. And that means the village has almost no workforce. In the Muirley stores, Chris Bancroft relies on his wife and son to keep the shop going. He just can't find the staff.
So last year we offered a bonus. We said if anyone came and they stayed till September, we'd offer them an extra £3 an hour to take it to £15 an hour for every hour they'd worked. And we still couldn't get anyone on that. So I don't know what more we could have done.
It's not just the shops. Pubs, hotels and restaurants are struggling to recruit too. Carolyn Frank works for the Federation of Small Businesses. Their last confidence index showed 1 in 8 hospitality businesses is looking to close in the next 12 months, a figure she describes as horrifying.
In areas like this on the coast, there's a number of structural issues, so transport difficulties, affordability of housing, the sheer number of people who live here for the number of jobs, and seasonality as well, so busy summer months and less busy in the winter. But I also think there's a short pipeline of people wanting to come into the sector, and that's such a shame because it can be a great career opportunity.
Jamie Chilton recognises the career opportunities. He's just got the job of general manager at the Victoria Hotel in the village. It's a great job, but recruitment is a massive headache.
We've currently got about 6 or 7 vacancies live that we're looking for. The hotel's currently recently been taken over and it's going through a bit of a refurbishment process, and we're also expanding and increasing the bedroom capacity. And one of the biggest challenges of actually doing that is finding the staff that we need to come in and help us to run the operation.
Yeah, peanut or something wrong.
Staffing the bar today is Cassie Anderson, and they're lucky to have her. She commutes nearly 30 miles to work here.
So I live in Gisborough and it's an hour and 7-minute journey on bus. Luckily it is one bus all the way through, but it isn't always reliable.
Why do you still work here then?
I like the place, I like the people that I work with, and I think I've made a lot of friends, and so it's not something I'm willing to give up.
Such loyalty is rare now. Employers have to earn it, because without it, the tourists that flock to Robin Hood's Bay will find a gorgeous beach and scenery, and not much else. Kathy Killick, BBC Look North, Robin Hood's Bay.
Oh yes, such a beautiful part of the world. Let's hope those vacancies can get filled. Now you're watching Friday's Look North. Still to come on tonight's programme. Running in memory of Molly, we meet the parents of a young woman from Sheffield who died from a rare form of cancer. Some news in brief now, and nearly 300 dangerous drivers have been caught in an operation by South Yorkshire Police, and a third of these were people on their phones. The police used an unmarked lorry to look down and inside passing vehicles. The 2-week scheme was in response to 15 road deaths in South Yorkshire this year. The operation aimed to improve road safety. Officers handed out fines and penalty points to those who were caught. MPs say the England and Wales Cricket Board must closely monitor Yorkshire to prevent a return to business as usual. It comes after the re-election of Chair Colin Graves, whose first spell at Yorkshire was during the period for which the club was fined for its poor handling of the racism scandal. Today's report from the Culture, Media and Sport Committee urged the ECB to monitor the club's performance on equality. Now there's disruption on the region's railways today and over the weekend. Members of the Train Drivers Union ASLEF are on strike. The union says they haven't had a pay rise for 5 years. The strike means there are no East Midlands Railway or cross-country trains running today, while Northern, LNER and Transpennine Express services will all be affected tomorrow. Now, in May, we'll get the chance to vote for the region-wide mayors in South, West and North Yorkshire and the East Midlands. And ahead of those elections, BBC Yorkshire will host 3 special programmes, and we'd love you to get involved. Yes, whether it's crime, transport or housing. If you've got a question or issue you would like to raise with the candidates, or if you'd like to be in the audience for the debate, do get in touch. You can scan the QR code on the screen now, or use the number to send a WhatsApp message, or you can email us at the usual address. That's look.north@bbc.co.uk. Now, the weekend is nearly here and we're going to talk sport now. Sally is here with all the action. Sally. Thank you, Amanda. Yeah, we'll talk sport. We'll start with football, shall we? We'll cross to Oggy at Rotherham ahead of tonight's match there in a moment. But let's have a quick look at Sheffield United.
Good goal. Don't like losing. I think there's always ways to lose. And unfortunately, our Achilles heel, last 15 minutes, where we run out of power, we run out of physical strength. And I think that's been our Achilles heel right the way through the season, the amount of goals that we've conceded late on. And unfortunately, we just couldn't hang on in there.
Now, speaking of hanging on in there, at the bottom of the Championship, Rotherham United continue their fight against relegation tonight at home to Plymouth. And there are one or two other teams watching with interest besides, and so is Paul Ogden, who's outside the New York Stadium. Oggy.
Many eyes across Yorkshire, South and West, Sally, on this fixture tonight. Often out of sympathy for Rotherham United because they had one of their best results of the season. They beat Millwall here on Monday, but the predicament is such that they would have to win every single one of the last 6 remaining matches to have any chance of staying in the Championship. With the best one in the world, it's not going to happen, but they're not the only ones. Look at the table as it stands at the bottom of the Championship. What a snapshot of Yorkshire football, bar Leeds United, in the Championship. Sheffield Wednesday and Huddersfield Town will be supporting Rotherham United tonight, hoping that Plymouth don't pick points up. Here, yes, people are resigned to relegation. Lots of strong opinions amongst Rotherham United fans, but they're very supportive as well, I found.
I think we've had some really unlucky results. I feel like a lot of decisions went against us and then we didn't really react to them very well. And we've had so many injuries towards the start of the season, mid-season, and it really impacted us. And then obviously Matt Taylor left and finding a new manager. There's a lot happened this season.
Bit crestfallen, a bit downhearted, but you know what, we'll live to fight another day. We'll be back, maybe in the league below, obviously, but we'll be back someday, yep.
What do Rotherham United need to stop this yo-yo happening?
I think it's just a strategy of getting young, hungry players. I think we've gone probably a bit too old for the Championship, so I think get young, hungry players in League One and build a team around them.
Yeah. I think it's going to take about another 2 or 3 years.
To come back?
Yes, but we will be back.
Amazingly spirited, the Rotherham United fans coming here tonight, half expecting their team not to win and therefore see their relegation sealed with what will be 5 games left after this one. It's going to happen eventually, but Rotherham United will look forward to life in League One, no doubt, next season. Full match commentary from here, by the way, tonight on Rotherham United against Plymouth Argyle from BBC Radio Sheffield Sport.
Thank you very much, Oggy. Yeah, it's getting very tight at the bottom of that Championship, isn't it? Now, Bradford Bulls player Tom Holmes could resume his playing career later this season if his health continues to improve. The Bulls have been without Holmes since he was told he had a rare form of cancer earlier this year. But after months of scans and biopsies, doctors still can't provide him with a complete diagnosis. He told BBC Radio Leeds that symptoms are slowly improving and he's back in training.
You know, it has been difficult, really difficult, and I probably, I come here with a smile on my face sometimes, and probably put a bit of a front on because, when we're at home, it has been tough, especially home life for us. So it's good to get back to a bit of normality now and with a smile on my face.
Now, day one of the new county cricket season, and despite some rain this morning, Yorkshire did manage to get play underway this afternoon. A few moments ago, Leicestershire were 159 for 4 with Yorkshire yet to bat. Now, of course, every cricketer has their pre-game routine, but for Jordan Thompson, a routine is essential because he has type 1 diabetes, and he's been talking to me about how he manages the condition.
Making sure that my blood sugars are at optimum levels for me to perform is massive for me, so I'll have certain routines. I'll eat the same thing in the morning to make sure it has the same effect on my blood sugar levels when I go to the game, and then I'll have similar things at lunchtime to make sure that I know I can go out there and bowl without coming off the pitch. The medical staff are very good with it. It's making sure that obviously number one is that I'm okay to go out there and perform. So yeah, it's obviously down to me as an individual most of the time to look after myself, but yeah, it's always good to have a helping hand.
And I suppose the message is that diabetes doesn't stop you being a sportsman.
Yeah, absolutely. That was one thing, like I said before, is could I play sport again was the main question for me, but luckily the help that I had at the hospitals, and obviously me as an individual, I've looked after it quite well, and it's something that I truly believe that you can go out there and do anything you want, even with these kind of conditions.
Now let's end with something to celebrate, because Pontefract swimmer Max Lichfield has qualified for his 3rd Olympic Games after a dominant performance at the British Swimming Championships. Lichfield set a new British record in the 400 metres individual medley to qualify for the Paris Olympics. His triumphant return to the pool follows 2 years out of competition with a personal issue. And last night his father was there to congratulate him.
It's been 2 years where I had no idea what my future held in any sense, and to be back now and to be on top of my form again, and to have made my 3rd Olympics at 29 years of age is amazing. I couldn't have asked for more.
Brilliant to see him back, and that's your sport, Amanda.
Absolutely, thank you very much. I'm sure Max will do us proud. Thank you, Sally. Now, a lady from West Yorkshire who converted to Islam last year said her community rallied around her during her first Ramadan. Chloe Sparks from Leeds has been fasting from sunrise to sunset for the last 30 days. Breaking the fast, known as iftar, is often done when families come together, but for Chloe this wasn't always the case. Inaya Mahmood has her story.
In the month of Ramadan, millions of Muslims across the UK fast from sunrise to sunset. Many of them have been fasting since they were children, but for new Muslim Chloe, this year was her first time.
It's really weird being up and eating on my own when it's so dark outside. It's probably the strangest part of my day, I guess.
Feeling really dehydrated today and not thirsty, like genuinely dehydrated. I think it's a struggle for those of us who are new to this.
Chloe was raised Christian, but despite being spiritual, she didn't always feel aligned with the faith, and after doing her own research, felt Islam was a better fit.
We're having a sisters iftar this evening where everyone's going to be bringing different dishes, so it'll be a bit of a surprise today what I'm having to eat. It's all about the hydration, so I've got water and tea. It's just me, but I still like to make it special and just have a nice, quiet, chill one and refuel myself.
It's only really when I heard other people talk more and more about their experiences of Ramadan, sort of spending a lot of time with family and extended family and friends, and them sort of saying that reverts can be really lonely, that it made me start to feel a bit lonely and realise that I was on my own. But after a while, I think I kind of readjusted to that.
Although Chloe adjusted to fasting alone, many say community is key to enjoying Ramadan. That's where new beginnings come in.
Converting to Islam in itself is a very lonely experience. I don't think the Muslim community understands how lonely it can be for somebody who has just become Muslim. We prepare them educationally about all the rulings around Ramadan before the month of Ramadan comes. There's a community online that they can connect to. So if they have any questions or they're struggling, they can reach out to us.
It's given me some peace, some really nice moments with community as well, and some amazing new friends.
Although fasting alone, Chloe has done her best to make her first Ramadan one to remember. Inaya Mahmood, BBC Look North, Leeds.
Now, Sheffield Half Marathon takes place this weekend, and a team of over 50 runners are taking on the challenge in memory of Molly Midgley, who passed away in February. Molly was diagnosed with a rare cancer in January last year, aged just 26. Alongside her treatment, she ran the Sheffield 10K last year, raising over £60,000 for a cancer charity. Well, earlier I spoke to Molly's mum and dad and began by asking, what was Molly like?
She was absolutely everything you'd want from a daughter. She was funny, she was warm, she did lots of very kind things. She would rescue people at 3 o'clock in the morning who'd been drinking too much and take them home and charge the phones up and things. She was opinionated, but nicely so that...
Sassy.
Sassy, definitely sassy. And proper Yorkshire lass, she... no messing about.
And we're seeing some beautiful photographs here. She got married last year.
She did.
And that must have been a very special day for you both.
It was.
It was lovely, yeah. It was last September in a month of rain. The sun shone and we had a lovely 60, 70 people in the day and 150 50 at night, just celebrating, really happy day. And sort of put everything else to one side.
Absolutely.
For a good 12 hours, maybe a bit longer.
Some, yes.
Now, we'll talk about the fundraising in a minute, but first of all, this rare form of cancer that she was diagnosed with. Molly was very keen to raise awareness for that, wasn't she?
It's isolating enough at 26 to have cancer. It's even more isolating to have a cancer that people are going, oh, that's very rare.
Yeah.
So she wanted to support people in the same situation as her, and she managed to get a network using the internet of people in the same situation as her that she found invaluable, people in America, people all over Britain, and certainly in Sheffield now, I think there are very few people who don't know about adenoid cystic carcinoma.
Oh, good for her.
And hopefully with the monies that she's allowed us to raise, that she will be in a position now that other people can get that support when they need it.
And as well as that incredible work, let's talk about the fundraising, David. The 10K that she did last year.
Yeah, so her and her sister, back in January when this all hit us, decided they weren't just going to sort of sit around and do nothing. We'll raise some money. They set a target of £250, which they were a little bit nervous about. Would that be enough? You know, would they be able to reach that? We raised over £60,000 last year for research into cancer. That money's gone into research projects, and her consultant at Weston Park sort of tapped her on the shoulder in the autumn and said, you know, I could do really great things if you do the same thing for me. So we tilted to do that. Molly was very keen to do that, and hence the work we're doing this year.
And you're now going to continue Molly's legacy and go for it on Sunday. I'll have to wish you the best of luck. Hope it all goes well. I'm sure you'll do her proud.
Thank you.
Oh, it's such a pleasure to meet Molly's mum and dad there. Now, 200 years ago, three sisters who were destined to become world-renowned authors were born in front of an open fire in a terrace house on the outskirts of Bradford. In the past, the Bronte birthplace has been used as a butcher's and then a restaurant and a cafe, but more recently it stood empty. Now, though, it's been brought into public ownership by a community group to be restored to attract Bronte enthusiasts from around the world. Heidi Tomlinson reports.
So here we are, the Bronte birthplace, at last. Here we go, to the hallway.
Behind the humble facade of this terraced home are walls soaked with the memories of a young family. The Bronte sisters were born on the parlour floor, Charlotte the first to arrive in 1816.
Charlotte, Patrick Bramwell, Emily and Anne were born in front of this fireplace. There's a presence in this building, and where we're stood right now, where the girls were born, you can feel it as you walk in. Any Bronte fan will get that tingling up the spine.
With the help of over 600 investors, the Bronte Birthplace Group bought number 72 Market Street in Thornton with the aim of transforming it into a community events space.
It would be a vibrant house. You know, before they left here, there were 6 children in this house and 2 maids. We don't want it to be a museum, hushed, walking around to us. We want people to come here, live and breathe the experience.
Once the rooms have been converted back to the 19th century, it's hoped children will be inspired to write stories as enduring as Jane Eyre and Wuthering Heights. Literary legacies proud Bradfordians like Krista Ackroyd hold dear. The Bronte devotee is convinced this small house can have a big impact on her home city.
In 2025, it is the city of culture. And some people have laughed at that. Even Bradfordians have laughed. I'm not laughing, because these girls are the perfect example of out of the depths of poverty, of difficult times, greatness can be achieved. And that can be our lesson, and that can be our inspiration.
I brought a party of children here last year, and the first thing they said to me was, it's just a normal street. It's exactly where we live. These 3 girls were born in this house here, and if they achieved it 200 years ago, then our children certainly can.
So this is the door to the secret staircase, which leads up to the servants' bedrooms.
Life was immeasurably different 200 years ago, but Charlotte, Emily and Anne's novels remain relevant, pulling in visitors from around the world. It's hoped the author's birthplace will be another must-see on the tourist trail across Bronte country. Heidi Tomlinson, BBC Look North, Thornton.
and I am ssure it will be a huge success. Now we're on to the weather prospects. Keely, that rain this week, April showers, in, out. Story it's all about the weather, the washing.
It happens
life.
every year, you know, Amanda. And yet we're always surprised by it, aren't we? Yeah, there has been that mix today. Here's some sunshine at Scarborough, but yeah, those showers were also blown through on quite a brisk, gusty wind, and you can see big waves crashing there on the shore at Scarborough. And Amanda's right, it's been so wet at times, hasn't it, recently? Soggy underfoot here, but some lovely oilseed rape brightening things up. You can keep your pictures coming in to, well, there's an array of places you can send them to, the Weather Watchers page, or we're on social media as well, keely.donovan. So we reached 16 degrees today. It did feel mild, didn't it? It's going to be even warmer tomorrow, but the weekend does look like it's going to be windy, particularly so on Sunday. So the air has originated in North Africa. It'll peak on Saturday, still mild on Sunday, and you can see those isobars very tightly packed, windy conditions throughout the weekend. Windier still, I think, on Sunday, and the greater risk of catching some showers on Sunday as well. So this is the radar. You can see we have had some showers about. Most of them have now died away, so it's pleasant out there at the moment. There should be some broken cloud and sunny spells, but clouding over with some patchy rain and then turning more persistent and heavy. But as you can see, it moves through quite quickly, leaving a legacy of cloud later in the night. It's going to be a mild one, temperatures down to around 12 degrees. So let's have a little look at those high water times then. In Bridlington at 3:32 and at 17 minutes past 3 in Filey. So if you're up and about early doors, there may be a bit of cloud, but it will go away quickly, and we'll have a spell of quite nice sunny weather. Cloud will then bubble up. There could be the odd shower through the middle part of the day, but increasing amounts of sunshine through the afternoon. Temperatures well above average for the time of year. We could reach 19, 20, even possibly 21 degrees, but a gusty wind coming up from the south. So a warm wind, but those gusts could touch gale force. So some sunshine for Saturday evening and the odd shower, and then rain overnight into Sunday. The greater risk of catching some showers on Sunday, and Sunday it'll be windier still. There could be some gusts 55 to 60 miles an hour, so very blustery indeed, and it won't be quite as mild. It does look like it will be unsettled, wet and windy to start next week.
Keely, thank you very much. Did you say you're working this weekend?
All weekend long.
Yes, me too.
Oh,
but for those of you who aren't working, do have a lovely weekend, whatever you have planned, and we'll be here with your news and weather. Goodbye. Yeah, I'm with you.